Hey everybody, so today I am going to be unboxing my beautiful extra large electric griddle, and this is the 12-inch by 22-inch griddle. I did pick it up at my local Walmart. I'm super excited. I personally have never used a griddle before in my entire life, so I am very excited to test it out and see if it's something worth keeping. I'm going to say most likely I will be keeping it, but you never know until you try it out. So, and as you see, it's packaged fairly well, and like I said, I did just pick it up at my local Walmart, so I didn't have to worry about shipping or anything like that. I'm going to say if you do have it shipped to your house, it'll be packaged more. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. It'll be packaged better with a lot more packing materials. So, and here is the neat little manual that was just sitting right there. And then obviously your plug-in and temperature gauge. Let's see if I can try to get this out without. And so this looks like the highest setting is 400 degrees on this particular model. So, let me just see. Like I said, there's that little piece that goes on the back there. And then it seems like it's a pretty nice setup, and obviously, like I said, it's the extra large, so you have a lot of surface to work with here. And then you have your little grease trap down there, and then there's your little tray for any drippings or whatnot. So let me go through the manual and see if I can't get something going for us today. Alright, so I have went through the user manual here, and on page 13 of the manual it says, before using for the first time. It says, number 1, unpack the griddle and remove all packing materials. 2, place the griddle on a clean, stable, flat working surface. And then there's a little side note that just says, some countertop and table surfaces such as corian and other surfaces are not designed to withstand the prolonged heat generated by this extra large griddle. We recommend placing a hot pad or trivet under the extra large griddle to avoid possible damage to the surface, and make sure the sides and back of the extra large griddle are at least 4 inches away from any walls, cabinets, or objects on the counter or table. So that's nice that they have just that little tidbit in there. And then it just, step number 3 says to wash the backsplash and the griddle top itself. You can wash it with a dampened soapy sponge or paper towel. And then once we're getting ready to actually cook, I will condition it with some cooking oil and stuff, and then it'll be ready to go, but we'll do that a little bit later. So I just wanted to jump on and let you know that little tidbit of information quick. Alright, so I went ahead and got everything clean. I have my backsplash all nice and clean here, and I cleaned off the griddle, excuse me, with just some paper towels. I did use a little wet sponge just to clean it off, and now I'm to the point where I'm supposed to be attaching the backsplash to the back of the griddle here. And it says, step number 5 here. It says to attach a backsplash. There are 3 slots or 3 tabs on the bottom of the backsplash. Yes. And 3 corresponding slots. Okay. Now we all just read that. Okay. Backsplash. Here are your slots. Or your tabs. There is nothing on the back of my model that I bought that I can see where I am supposed to attach this. The best thing I can come up with is it just sits really loose right here. So, just letting you all know, this is not attached very well, and I don't like this at all on this beautiful griddle that I bought. So I just wanted to jump on and show you guys that I am trying to figure out exactly how to place this on here, but I'm not having very much luck. And I'll show you too, there's nothing on the inside to attach the tabs to either. So I'm gonna get this figured out and then we can start cooking. Alright, so I just wanted to jump on here again. I even had my husband try to attempt to figure it out and no such luck. So we're just going to sit it on the back, kind of like so, and move on. So we're going to condition, step number 7, it says to condition the extra large griddle's non-stick surface. And we're going to, luckily I don't even have the temperature control thing plugged in yet. I do have it plugged into the outlet, but I do not have it plugged into the appliance itself until now, because it says, yes, make sure that it's plugged into the socket on the side of the machine. And I can show you guys when I get ready to actually start cooking here. Step number 8 says to coat the non-stick griddle surface with vegetable shortening. I do not have any vegetable shortening, so I am just going to coat it with some of my avocado oil and just kind of wipe it around with a paper towel to get it evenly coated. And then we will turn on the knob to heat up the oil to get it ready to go. And then we'll be ready to cook from the looks of it here. So, alright. Yes, it says to, so I'm just going to read what I just skimmed over here briefly. It says to coat the non-stick griddle with vegetable shortening. And then 9, plug the cord in and turn the temperature control dial to 400 degrees. The control probe's power indicator light will illuminate. And step 10, allow the extra large griddle non-stick surface to heat. When 400 degrees is reached, the indicator light will turn off. Turn the temperature control dial to off and unplug, obviously. And then it says to let the griddle cool down before you wipe off any excess oil. And then we'll be ready to cook something. So, that being said, I'll grab my oil because I don't, like I said, I don't have any shortening. So I'm just going to kind of do it I'm going to get it a good amount on there just because it's a nice big surface to work with. And luckily I got paper towels right here so I can kind of maneuver it around a little bit. So aside from the backsplash not attaching to the unit very well, I mean, I'm still excited to use it. So I'm excited to see what it can do for me here. So just kind of go all over, kind of like so. I'm just going to put that right there. And now's the time when I will get you guys down so you can see the knob. So we can turn this thing on and get it heating up. So I did plug it in there. And I apologize for the lighting here. So, and I'm going to turn it. There's your light. And like I said, it said to heat to 400, and that's going to be the max there. And so yeah, once it's reached its temperature, sorry, my camera's going to readjust here, it'll turn itself off and then we'll let it cool down. I am going to test out some bacon here. So I will be back when it's all done preheating or heating up, whatever it has to do. Alright, so the indicator light did just barely turn off here, so we have reached 400 degrees. And so, per the instructions, it says to go ahead and turn it all the way off now. and we're gonna let it completely cool before we wipe it down, and then it'll be ready to go to cook. Alright, so it cooled down enough to the point where I can actually cook now. I went ahead and cleaned it off. I just used a paper towel because I have them handy right here. And so I am going to do bacon just because I actually have some. So I'm going to just cook a few pieces on here just to test it out. And so on page 17 of the manual, it actually has a little cooking chart for you. And it says bacon can be cooked at 325 to 350 degrees for 8 to 14 minutes. And the directions just are super simple. It says set to appropriate temperature and adjust as needed. And then flip as needed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my dial to 350. But of course I will show you guys that first. And then I'll grab my bacon out of the fridge. So, but yeah, we're just gonna turn it back on now. And like I said, I'm gonna do 350. And I'm going to wait until the light is off before I put my bacon on. Or I might put it on before then. I haven't quite decided, but I'm gonna go get my bacon now. So I went ahead and started putting them on there just because I have a few slices while it's heating up here. And it's already starting the cooking process, as you can hear. So we're just going to get all the pieces on here and then see what we can do. Alright, I'm just going to kind of do something like that. So I'm going to let you guys listen to that for just a second. And so now it's just a matter of preference, depending on how crispy or not you want your bacon. I'll grab some tongs here. I figured these will be easier to flip my bacon versus using just a regular fork. And I only have metal tongs, so yeah. So I'm just going to let it cook and do its thing, and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flip. Maybe. They want to cooperate. They do not want to cooperate very well. Ah. Goodness. Of course, my flipping skills probably aren't the best either. A little curlicue. Alright. Give them a little bit longer here. Alright. I'm going to attempt to flip again. Feel like we're a little more cooperative now that we've cooked a little bit. And so obviously you can see you've got a lot of workspace to work with on this griddle, so that's nice. And I'm going to probably just do a couple more minutes because they're looking pretty done to my liking. So let me just get a plate really quick and we should be getting ready to be all done. Alright, yeah, I went ahead and turned it off. so they cook up pretty fast on here, so that's always good. At least the bacon does. But let them dry out a little bit. And obviously I'll let this cool off all the way before I clean it off, but I'll definitely be showing y'all how to clean it off once it's totally cooled down and once you've cooked something on it. So I will be back shortly. Alright, so as far as cleaning, I am just going to wipe as much of this as I can to the little drip tray trap down here, and then that way it'll just be less to clean up with my sponge. So, and I mean, this is just for bacon. Obviously, if you cook something different, you can clean it up differently, but I'm just going to try to get it all in the trap before I empty it out, because I figure I should just try to get as much grease off of here as I can, just to make it easier overall to clean. So, and I do have my trash handy beside me. So yeah, once it's completely cooled down, you can do this. Obviously, you don't want to do it when it's hot. And since I'm just gonna dump it, I'm gonna let it soak in the paper towel, hopefully. See if I can get rid of most of that before putting it in my trash. And luckily I have some extra paper towels in there anyway, so. And then this, I'm just gonna pour some soapy water in there and let it soak for just a little bit. And then as far as the backsplash goes, you're just gonna rinse that off with you can do a table or a cloth, like a washcloth, or you can do a sponge. Just make sure you use the soft part of your sponge. So you go ahead and get it wet. And you can totally leave the drip tray on here too if you want to, but it's not necessary since you cleaned it up pretty good. But just kind of go all over and get in the nooks and crannies here. So get that, and while you're at it, you can just do your backsplash. So, and I'm just doing every bit of it. So, So as you see, it's really easy to clean. And then I'm just doing a dry towel to wipe up most of this before I go back over with a wet one. I just want to see if I can get most of this soapy stuff off of here. And this is just how I'm doing it. Y'all can do it however you want, but this is just how I'm doing it because this is my first time. So, just got it wet a tiny bit just to make sure I get it all nice and clean and don't leave any extra residue. That way you're just ready to go for the next round of deliciousness, depending on whatever you want to cook in here. So, and then just make sure you get in that little spot good too. Alright though. So that's it. That is start to finish cooking and cleaning out your beautiful extra large griddle.